Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Micah Let's Play, and guess who I am? I'm Micah, because who else would I be? A Lord of Fortune? Maybe. Guys, today I'm so excited. Today we're going to be talking about Dragon Age The Veilguard, the gameplay trailer we got a few days ago, and oh my glob, I love it so much. I actually did a reaction on another person's channel, Angel Arts, that guy. Yeah, me, Angel Arts, and a lovely gentleman by the name of Shay, XEI Gaming. I wanted to make sure I said it correctly. Both of their channels will be in the video description, as well as my reaction as well. And I just must say, to BioWare, if you randomly see my video, thank you. I love what I saw so far. I'm very impressed with the gameplay. And so the way we're going to do this video is a little different than the trailer reveal. Instead of just like talking and just going in, you know, just batshit crazy like I normally do, we're gonna break this up in segments. So I'm gonna have chapter times in the video description. So if you don't want to watch this part and you just want to go somewhere else, I'll see you wherever you land. So with that being said, we're gonna do it where we're gonna talk about what I noticed in the trailer, my theories, so more of the story and theories. Then we'll like break off, we'll go into the combat, we'll start talking about what to expect from this game. I'm talking about the romance Dragon Age Keep, which is no longer gonna be in play, and then my final thoughts and something I feel is important that needs to be said about Dragon Age. I see a lot of the negativity in the community. So many people are divided. Largely after people saw the gameplay trailer, they were back on board. Dragon Age is back. But yeah, I want to give people like maybe some hope about, you know, what they may experience with this game. I'm glad the larger consensus is that we like this, but you know, we'll touch on that when that segment of the video is when it comes, which will be at the end of the video. So again, chapter times are important. Okay, so starting with the initial story of the trailer, what I noticed right away, and I am going to be kind of skipping around, is that you hear Varric talking to Rook, us, the protagonist, about Nave, which I would call Neve, but Nave, she is the best damn detective. She has a lead on Solus, and they feel that if she says she has a lead on Solus, then believe her. And again, she was first introduced in the comic book called The Missing. If you have not read it, which I haven't, I basically got my dose of it from Gildanon's channel, Gildatharin's channel, forgive me, and Jackdaw. Their channel links will also be in the video description, and where I learned about this. The other place I learned about Neve, as I said before, is in the Streets of Minrathous in Tevinter Nights, which is an excellent read, and I highly recommend you reading it before this game comes out. It's not that big of a book. It looks more intimidating than it is. You can breeze through the chapters like I have. Sorry if you hear noise. So yeah, so opening up here, what I want to talk about is that you see this temple right here, right? So I believe this is one of the ancient elves temples. Who this belongs to, I don't remember if it was Geldanon or something, or if this was his temple. I'm not entirely sure, but what we do see is that in the descriptions we've got of Tevinter of floating buildings, this is so cool. And I think this is where the Archon and some other people that are very important in Minrathous, I think this is where they are located. So again, I think this area is going to play a very important role later in the game, and I hope we get to go there, and I hope we get to see Dorian and the Black Divine. So okay, so again, love it, love the neon signs. Absolutely love this, and I love the seamless transition where it goes from gameplay footage, like a cutscene, going right into the gameplay. And again, I'm freaking loving Rook. I love that you can interact with the background. I know that they could have done more. The guy who was playing this, or the woman, I really don't know who was playing this, they could have done more, but you know, they had to stay on their schedule. And from what we understand, this has been like cut down to prevent from spoilers. And again, right here, I love this. So you see that this is Rook. Sorry, I kept pausing. We see that Rook is a level 1. His backstory is Shadow Dragon, which is a faction that Knave is a part of, and it's a custom appearance. I just gotta say, I appreciate his look. Like, the fact that he's a handsome black man. I love the hair. I love his dark complexion. I love the fact that this is default, or what appears to be the default Rook. And again, for me, I love it. And if you don't like it, remember, that's why customization exists. And knowing what they've been able to do with hair, and you know how hair is important to us colored folk, not just to colored people, but to everybody. Hair is important. So I'm excited to know. We'll touch on that when the time comes. But yeah, so from here, we really get to see more Minrathous. I love it. There's so much we can actually do with the body sliders. And then let's just move forward a bit. Right here, where, you know, you see this poor woman is under assault, not under assault, but under the spotlight of to Deventer reinforcements, or law enforcement. That's the word I'm looking for. And Reeve, I'm saying Reeve, Rook over here is trying to be, you know, he wants to save a girl. He wants to help a girl out. And it's like, Varric, I like how Varric is like, no, not after the bar situation. You know, because just so you know, that trailer, the reveal trailer is basically how Varric and Rook, as well as Harding, how they meet up with each other. I think that's actually pretty cool. But to me, the way the dialogue seems, it seems like they've known each other for a while. Like maybe they knew each other before they came to the bar, and then the bar, whatever happens, and then this kind of takes place. So I'm excited to see how that's really gonna play out, because the way they're talking to each other, it's like they've known each other not a long time, but they seem comfortable in their conversation with each other. It seems a little weird. They're like, hey, you help us take down an ancient elven god, and you're like, I got nothing else better on my schedule, why not? So I'm curious to see how this scene is actually supposed to be played out. And as we go further into this, I think I've uncovered something no one else is really talking about, but you'll see, we'll see. Okay, and then we see the rift. It opens right here on this scene. Varric looks so handsome. I think Rook and Varric look, I'm sorry. I know black features aren't for everybody. Not everybody looks upon us and sees, oh my god, what a hot ass person, because that's your preference, and there's nothing wrong if you don't find black people attractive. It's perfectly normal. It's called preference. But to me, I think they made him look so handsome. He looks so good. I honestly am tempted to kind of just play him as this. Like, no joke. When I saw it, I was like, oh, he looks so cute. I love his high cheekbones, his full lips. And it just makes me excited to know what we can actually kind of do, because Inquisition had a pretty decent character creator. So I'm excited to see how they've upgraded it. And we'll talk about it more. Okay, so we see all this, and then it seamlessly, yet again, goes right into gameplay footage. And I absolutely love these rage demons. I literally want one for a pet. Like, I do. I love this right here, and I love this scene right here where the person just gets yeeted off, like, yoink, and it's just like, it's so good. Like, these rage demons, I know not everybody likes their new design, or some people feel like their new design is a little too cartoony or whatever. I love this new design. I love the fact that you just see rifts opening everywhere, and like like the way Minthrathis looked, like you have neon magic signs. For me, I love it. It kind of gives me Gotham City vibes. And I'm not a Batman fan, as I tell everybody. I'm not a Batman fan, but I do love Batman's world, his mythos, his rogues gallery. I like everything around Batman, if that makes any sense. I don't really care for Bruce Wayne Batman himself. Not that I dislike him, it's just, he's just not my cup of tea. But anywho's, I love this here. I think this is so cool. And then you see how you're introduced to this brand new pride demon. For me, I love it. I love the tendrils. They look like blood tendrils of like magic, and they seem more ethereal. And it's like, did they change their look because of how thin the veil is or what's happening? I don't know. For me personally, I love it. I know some people prefer their more corporeal, like solid form. Don't get me wrong, the Dragon Age monsters and demons have always looked cool. They've all, from the first game to this game, I've never been disappointed in how they look, and I love their redesign. I think this is awesome. Again, I just want a rage demon puppy just to have in my house. Like, BioWare, can we make that happen? I would love that. But anywho's, we see the Deventer mages fighting it off, and we jump forward. So let's just jump to the part where we run into the beautiful and talented Lace Harding. So we see here we get our intro into Harding, and again, I'm so excited about this woman, her inclusion in the game, and for many reasons. Let's get that glamour shot. One, because she was a definite fan favorite in Inquisition, and I'm excited to see her in this game. And I think that they dropped a really big reveal on Harding by saying she now has mystical powers, and I think we see the moment when she gets them. And we'll talk about the dialogue wheel and some of the choices and some of my theories as we go forward. But I'm really excited to see this. I love the streets of Minthrathis. And it just, after reading that book and then seeing this, I can now actually see Nave walking around the streets of Minthrathis, and the story she's in where she stops like a blood cult from rising like a demon from under the city, and they say only a god could stop it. So I'm very curious, will we re-explore that as we're in Deventer and have Neve in our party? So again, it's like, maybe this might be a part of her deep backstory. So I'm excited. So yes, we meet her. She's gorgeous, she's lovely, she's a hero of the Inquisition. Love that. And I like how she's really concerned for the citizens. This isn't even her home, and she's just like, the citizens, there's a lot of scared people. I love the riff there. It looks so good. And then right here, the dialogue wheel. I got heavy vibes of Inquisition and Dragon Age 2. I like how they combine the two of them. I'm just wondering, will we have, like how they do it sometime where you get the 4 options, or you can investigate and ask the question. So I'm wondering, are we only limited to the 3, or do we have like what we had with Inquisition? Excuse me. And then the other thing here is that I saw some people kind of mad about this. Now, this is typical Dragon Age. It says never better, a little shaken, and then in a hurry. He doesn't actually say that. So I've gotten used to reading, even though it says that, he'll probably say something different. Or for you, if you're playing as a woman or non-binary, they'll say something different. So I'm excited to see more of the dialogue. So he just says, we need to hurry. I love that they chose the more stoic option, kind of a little bit more reminiscent to Dragon Age 2. And how he's like, you got my gear? And she's like, right over there. And so that tells you, like, if you pick rogue, warrior, or mage, your goodies will be right in that corner. And I must say, I'm really happy that this outfit is in the game, because at first I was like, will we have this outfit? Will we get it? Will we have it? I'm just wondering, will we be able to pull the hood up? It doesn't look like it has one, but it would be so cool if we could have it, I know they use it for visual purposes to hide the face, but I would like to see it. I would like to see it. So let's move on. So here is just really them getting into the combat, and we'll talk about the combat when that time comes. So yeah, let's talk about where we finally meet my my wife, Nave. So I love how right here he touches it and it just, the ice goes away and he thinks it's him, but it's her. She just removes the ice. And I love her intro. Her intro was everything I wanted and more. And I think she looks so gorgeous, so beautiful. Like, I support this. I love her look, and I love that line of, oh, they thought so too. Like, yes, queen. And I like how in this section of the video, you see the Venatori. So, oh, just so you know, the Venatori were in the bar. So there actually were Venatori agents. They just weren't mages. They were actually probably like hired goons. So now we know. Okay, right here where they're introduced to each other. I love how Varric is like, Rook, this is, you know, Neve, and all that other good stuff, and they're talking, and he said, oh, you two both work for the Shadow Dragons, and she sends that line of like, oh, like, isn't that like a coincidence or whatever? I think that's really cool. It's almost like it's a nod, like, oh, I know, like, I've seen you before. You may not have seen me, but I've seen you. And I love that. I think that's really cool, and apparently your backstory will really play into a lot of different dialogues, and I must say, I love the voice acting. I love the dialogue choices. I think it's really good. And speaking of dialogue choices, right here where he mentions, you know, if, you know, I had a friend say the Shadow Dragons were worth trusting, and I think that's a nod to Dorian. So I'm like, oh, Dorian, and we're gonna talk about that, like the characters that are when we get to that section of the video. We're definitely gonna talk about characters that may make a reappearance, and of course we're in Tevinter. Why wouldn't we see Dorian? But still, I love that, and I like how he says that. And again, that just goes to show that again, Varric and him have had some dialogue. They've known each other for a short stint. And then here it says, you rescued yourself, I see. You know, that could be like, you know, that's like the please option. Then here, nice job with the Venatori. I love it because I know that's sarcastic Hawk, and I support this, even though in this case it's going to be Rook. And then need information. And then I like how he just goes right into it. And I love how she's like, she calls him out. She's like, oh, you don't waste time. You know what I mean? And that's something I like, because knowing her character, when you read it, you read that she's cynical. And like her very cynical demeanor shows through in that moment. And for me, good storytelling, good writing. I know not everybody likes it, but I co-sign on this. Okay, right here, this scene right here where you see in the vibrations. I am so curious, does this again go back to her story in Minrathous with the thing that's under the city, under the temple? So, will we get that? Will we explore that? I hope so. I really do. Like, I'm so excited to really explore her backstory in particular, because we got a taste of her, and I like what I saw, so I want more. Like, oh my god, I need this I need this game like yesterday, BioWare, but I'll be patient if you need more time, love. And then also in my trailer reaction, let's just stop on this gorgeous girl. Also in my trailer reaction with Hark and Shay, like I said, we also did a video discussion, so there's two parts to it. And we had this really lengthy, fun conversation, so both of those videos will be in the video description. They come to this section, and she says, I think I know where he was because she found traces of old magic. Ancient magic? Harry Potter, are you here? I'm just kidding, no. How she points right there, says Our Lady of Victory, and I believe this may be Andraste, because even though the Teventers have a different way of worshiping the Chantry with the Black Divine, which is the male divine, and instead of women being, you know, like in this world, women, the clerics, the priests, the ministers, the mothers are in power. Here, it's the other way around. It's like in our real world where most people of the clergy that are in power are usually men. And there are some women, but they're usually men. And I like that, and I wonder if this was Andraste, so I actually tried to look it up, and apparently I think this is meant to be Andraste, but I really don't know what else, but it would kind of make sense, theory-wise, and this goes into a theory, that Solus might be the maker in some aspects, and that this is a reference to Mythal, although Mythal and Andraste never ever met. So it's like, it's a loose theory, but there may be some tendrils of truth to it, but we'll see as the game plays. And again, her wand, yes. Oh, and this scene right here, this has nothing to do with anything, but right here, when they're talking, and she's like, you know, this is more magic than I expected from a dozen mages. I thought you said he was working alone. And then I like Varric, it's like, and this right here, like this scene right here is so fucking cinematic. It looks so cool. Knave looks so fucking beautiful. Like, just this art. Like, I know people don't really care for this art, but it has like this airbrush look to it. And this is like wallpaper worthy. So good, so beautiful with her glowing ice wand, and it just like Knave just does it for me, and mommy's hitting all the right spots. Okay, she's making it feel good. And I like how she says that, and it's just so like, it's such a good scene. That's, again, to the people who did these scenes, fuck yes, thank you. That is so good. And I love how Varric is like, I also told you he was an ancient elven god. Like, you know, and then she's like, well, whatever he is, he's causing trouble in my city. And for me, I love it. And again, her look, yes, queen. Sexy bitch. Love it. And I love her fingernails as well. And I love how you get this scene here. And ever since my friend Hark said this, like, now we just need the Veilguard symbol to rise in the sky, and you're dun 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 dun, like, you know, like from Batman. And this is so cool. It's so pretty. I love it so much. This game is beautiful. Oh, and just imagine how it's gonna look when we actually play it. Like, oh my god. I'm so dorky, I know, but it's me. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna skip all of the next parts of the video because I want to focus on this, like I said, story as well as theories. There is your ritual. And then if you see right here, one, it is all the 7 pantheon of the Elvenures, of the ancient elven gods. I believe the Olithon forest is like right outside Tevinter or something like that. And then there's the white, I think it's near like the White Spire or something like that. Forgive me if I'm getting my geographic locations in the world of Thedas incorrectly. But yeah. And one, this looks really cool. And then also, there's a short story where they talk about Stroud, like, you know, trouble in the Olithon forest. And, you know, Stroud sees himself running away from things, and there's all kind of chaos happening. And then in the comic book The Missing, we see the same thing happening there. And why? Because the veil is thinnest here, and now Solus is doing this ritual. It's really cool because you see stuff floating, and of course they cut away again because they don't want to spoil anything. But again, I love it, and it was just so cool. I don't remember which each symbol stands for. I think this one is Gillenon. This is Gillenon. But the others I really don't remember. And I think the sun one is Elganon, which is the father of vengeance, the god of vengeance, who was Mythal's husband, the mother of protection. Okay, so we're gonna skip past. Again, I just want to point out Varric's hair on these scenes real quick. Look how the hair is moving, right? The hair is moving so good. It's like a Pantene Pro V commercial, and it just makes Varric even more sexy. But look at how that hair is moving. So good. And again, I love it. And this scene right here, this right here, it's just so reminiscent to the concept art we were seeing with Solas and this lyrium dagger he has as he's performing this ritual to rip open the veil. And I just gotta say, this scene that's coming up is so telling about the relationship the Inquisitor had with Varric and Solas and that group, that family in Inquisition. And I love how it ties so heavily into this. It really makes you feel like this is what happened 10 years after the Inquisition ended, and this is where it leads to. It almost makes you feel like this should be the end of the game, like this is the final boss battle, but it's not. It's the beginning, and it just goes to show what the devs were really trying to do, why they made the name change. And for me, it just really gets me hyped up, but it also plays into a lot of my theories. But I could be horribly wrong, and you can all make so much fucking fun of me. Hell, I'll make fun of me. Okay, so you don't have to. But yeah, so I really like this. I don't know, there's something about this, it's just, and the coloring, how you notice it's green, but it's starting to turn purple of the veil, like, storytelling is on point. We are eating, honey. Okay, we are being fed good. Not good, but good. Okay, so right here, this is just fucking beautiful. And notice the ones that are inside the circle are the ones that came out of the rift, and we'll talk about that later. Elgadon and Gilanon, or it could be Andriel. I don't think it's Andriel, because I think Gilanon, and I think this one is Andriel. Andriel is her. But yeah, I think that's what this is. And I think this one here is meant to be Mythal or Beetlehead. No. Well, or maybe this one, because I always associated Ergonon with the sun, so the sun symbol was him. But again, I could be totally fucking wrong. You know, if I'm wrong, can you guys let me know in the comment section? And also, massive shout outs to Kiwi, my boy, this sexy bastard, this awesome artist, had pointed out to me I did make an error in the last video, and that was I had said Sarah and Harding were a couple. That was Sarah and Dagna. And that also makes me really excited about Dagna as well. And we'll touch on that when we get to those sections, the theory section. But yeah, so it was Dagna and Sarah, not Sarah and Harding. So my bad. And again, to everyone else who pointed it out to me as well, thank you. I appreciate it. Again, I'm still consider myself a newer fan. But yeah. So thank you guys. But anywho, let's continue. We see this here. We see the demons are coming. Knave and Harding being bosses, just taking them out. And right here, when they were indicating the foreshadowing of Varric dying was really, for me, it was heart-wrenching. I don't want Varric to die. And as I said it before, if Varric dies, we riot. And I think we get almost a definite confirmation why he's really not a party member. And I don't think he's dead, but I do think something happened to him that makes it so. So let's talk about the emotional scene that's coming up right now that makes me really love the storytelling. And it really goes to show that even though the team of BioWare, the people who were originally with Dragon Age Origins to Inquisition, though it is horrific to know that these people have left the company by force or by choice, but the new team at BioWare that understood what was done with the writers who wrote Varric and Harding and everyone else, that they understood how important these characters are to us, that people want closure with Llewellyn and Solas and Varric. Like, we want this story. We really want this to happen. And I want my Inquisitor to have that moment with Solas, and lo and behold, we get our Inquisitor. So I'm really excited that they really did remember, that we want this story to be told, and I'm excited. Like, this just has me so excited for what we may see in this game, and this could be potentially one of the very best Dragon Age games. I could be wrong. I could be horribly wrong, but in my heart, I think they have something here. But again, we don't know until we get the game this fall, which it's summer now. So it's kind of like, summer, can we kind of scoot along a little bit? Can we just move along a little bit so we can hurry up and get to, October, November, December, like, just help a boy out, September, like, let's go. But anywho, let's talk about this. Of course, they make a decision. Varric runs away, making us feel all sad inside, making us feel like if you kill Varric, we riot. This scene right here where you see him walk up and he calls him Chuckles. Now, for those of us who played Inquisition, that was a nickname Varric gave to Solas, but he also gives it to Hawk. When Hawk is more like sarcastic, he calls Hark Chuckles. And if Hark is more broody or more stoic, he calls him Killer. So I like that you see some of that in there. And we will talk about choices in a minute. But this scene right here says so much. He said, Chuckles, I hope I'm not interrupting anything. And you see that look, that little cock of his head. It says, this is so Varric. This is how you know this man is incredibly charming. And he uses that charm and he cranks it up. And it's so good. It's so good and it's so Varric. And this is why myself and so many others, we can't bear for this man to die. I can't. I don't know if I could take it, because Varric is such a cool character since he was introduced in Dragon Age 2. Such an incredible character, incredibly written, incredibly voice acted. Just the only problem is we could never, rock that dwarf, but just saying. Anywho, I love it. And then this scene right here is so telling on Solas. You see how he looks, angry, and then he goes soft. Right here, he goes soft, and I love how the lighting is just so perfect on Solas and his big old egghead, and he looks good, by the way. So I understand those who romanced him. I get it. Yes, girl, get that man. Bring his ass home. But right here in his eyes and his face, it's like, and just imagine if this was the Inquisitor. What would have happened had this been the Inquisitor? So you can only imagine the emotional shookness we're all gonna be when the Inquisitor finally confronts or reunites this guy, Solas. And it's just, again, the storytelling is so on point. I am so here for it. I'm ready to cry. Like, y'all don't understand. This is so good. But we'll continue. And then he goes hard to mask that pride. His pride took over, and he just like, no, fuck this noise, and mad face, and he just looks so cute with his little rosy cheeks. I love it. And he's like trying to harden himself, and then of course they're having this conversation, and I love how it just goes to show how stupid Solas is. He's so fucking arrogant, because if you are fooled by him in Inquisition, which I was, you think he's he's this, spirit mage, and he walks the fade and blah, 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 not realizing the whole time he is the Dreadwolf, the trickster god, Finn Harel. And I was duped, okay? I was duped by this dude, turning on all those things, I forgot what you call those spheres, to strengthen the veil. Really, Solas? Really? That's the story we gonna go with, bitch? Okay. Wait till my Inquisitor sees your ass. I'm just kidding, no. But right here, I love it so much. It's so good. And of course, the team has to fight. We'll touch on that in just a second. Right here, where it switches back and the team is watching and you're hearing this conversation. And I love how he has to turn himself away. He said the veil is a plague in this world and it must be healed. And it's revealed right there, the Lyrium dagger. The one that Rook holds at the end of the game. And this has me excited because remember, I'm playing as a mage, and I know lots of other people are as well, but you see him have or her or them or they have the dagger and it's lyrium. So will we use it during combat to either reseal the veil or use it to open it? Like, I'm so excited. I don't know what kind of mechanic this is, but I'm here for it, girl. Not all of you are girl, but you know what I mean. I'm here for it, y'all. I'm here for it. Anywho, and I love how he's like, I have taken precautions to minimize the damage. To minimize the damage, mother yumper, millions of people are gonna die. His arrogance, his pride. You just want to rub his head and just, it's okay, boo-boo, it's okay. Just put down the knife, let's talk. Let's have a cup of tea. Wait, he doesn't like tea very much, does he? I made it funny. I'm just kidding, no. You see this part right here, it looks so beautiful. And I just gotta say, his eyes are just enchanting. I see why Llewellyn was taken in by this cat. And I like how, you see how his face hardens? Let's go back to that for a second if we can. Let's go back just for a second and get that look where he looks shocked and he's like, oh God, I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get these images just right. Cause it's hitting just right. So I need to be landing just right. And you see how his face hardens. He's like, it's like that moment where it's like, wait, bitch, what? Like, what'd you say? Minimize? He's like, people are like, I don't know, they're unaliving all over the place. Maybe let's not do this. And I like how right here, it goes to show that daddy not playing right here. He's like, I don't want to use this, but I will if I have to. And it's so telling. And you see Solas's face right here. How he looks like, oh, like he heard the click. He heard it. He knows what's behind him right now. And then this moment right here is so telling. When he turns around and you see that he looks very kissable. Fuck you, Solas. You stop making me gay, goddammit. Oh, wait, too late. But still. And you see this right here where he looks angry, but at the end of the day, this is his brother in arms. This is his friend. This is Chuckles. And he goes, please, and he softens. He even dips down Bianca to let him know, I love you. I don't want to hurt you. And it's so good and it's so emotional and it's so telling to the amount of the depths of their relationship, even though Solas tried to say that was years ago and all this other stuff. And then you see this scene right here where Solas, instead of hurting Varric, he hesitates and disarms him and rip on Bianca. Honestly, this is when I was like, Solas, dude, you understand the significance of what Bianca means to Varric. What are you doing? What are you doing? I was like, I took it personal because I'm like, that's Bianca. Like, that is Bianca, y'all. And Bianca ain't no more. So I saw this and you just look at his face. He looks devastated. So good. So good. And you see Bianca and you see how he's looking like, whoa, like this bitch mean business. And then he's like, oh, people die. That's what they do. And this is when he's lying to himself. This is when you're lying to yourself to validate what you're doing. He's trying to have self-validation on this part because he's so far gone into his own bullshit. He's believing his own lie to say that's what they do. Well, guess what? Yeah, people die, but people shouldn't be killed. People shouldn't just be written off, because you're trying to fix your mistake that you created, And I love how right here, you see how he hardens because he's trying to just so sell this point on, I'm done, I'm doing it. And he starts to rip open the veil again. And you see that Varric has that hopeless look in his eye. And right here, right now, this is when it changed. The story changes, and we understand Rook's play in this whole catastrophe. Now, understanding what Knave says, all that magic, there would be consequences. But he was like, he ain't listening. We need to stop him, right? So Solus was so arrogant, he was so full of himself, so full of pride, that he didn't even calculate the other people there. Maybe he knew they were there, maybe he didn't, but he didn't even consider them. Because you know he could have killed Varric like that. He's an ancient elven god, you know? So there's no way he didn't, you know, think of this. But he didn't, because he was so prideful. Oh, I got this. Nobody's gonna fuck with me. I'm gonna do my ritual. World's gonna burn in chaos and magic. Elganon is gonna be returned. We're good, but whatever. And he didn't even calculate the little black man planning in the corner. Like, his downfall was one man's decision. One man's decision just bust your shit wide open, bruh. Like, again, love her. Like, oh my god, I don't even know what I'm gonna do when it comes to the romance option. Like, I'm seriously struggling here. And I like how she's like, the magic will kill you. Like, she's all that road magic, you don't know what can happen. He was like, anybody got a better idea? And let's just look at daddy. Like, can we romance Rook? Because daddy looking right. And like I said, I'm seriously tempted to kind of maybe do a little something different with the hair if they got some other cute black hairstyles. Ain't nothing wrong with this one, but maybe play with it a little bit. Maybe another, like a fade or something, or like some dreads. I'd rock that. With this face, I'd rock it. And we see this scene right here, and I like how the girls are just like, we need to do this. This is something I want to point out to you guys. Something I noticed after I watched this like 600 times. If you're wondering why this has 1 million views, I'm probably solely responsible. Not everybody else, just me. Right here, where it says, either way, someone needs to stay back and deal with the demons. This is when we start to realize the weight of our decisions. And then here, right here, where the game actually says, choose wisely. Your decisions will impact your companion. And then it says, Knave will follow you. It said, will follow you into greater danger. Knave will follow you. So understanding she may be up for grabs, meaning the Reaper might just be like, yeah, go ahead, choose her. I want you to. I need a new soul in my collection. Okay? So this screams values. And then it says, Knave with me, Harding with me. And it seems like he went in and chose Harding because why? Some party members, when going back to that, it says Knave will follow you into greater danger, meaning some people may not. Like, say if this is Emmerich. Emmerich may not. Emmerich might be like, nobody. That's on you. Good luck. Manfred, you want to take my place? Like, that's the vibe I got with this. And again, it's the level of storytelling. And did I mention I was here for it? Maybe. In case I didn't, I'm here for it. Okay. And then, so again, he makes his decision. He chooses that beautiful girl Harding, and she greatly approves. Now, mind you, when you tell the other decision where he says, we didn't come here to talk to him, Knave greatly, not greatly, but Knave disapproved, but Harding approved, because Harding feels like, yeah, we're gonna have to take him down, man. This is just what we're gonna have to do. And Knave is willing to be diplomatic. I love that. Like, I think that's so good, and it just makes it more interesting to really get to know this woman, like both women actually, all the companions, but in this instance, the women. Again, this is another one of those scenes where it's like wallpaper worthy. So good. I love that hard stoic face and a man that has made his decision. I love it. I love the face acting is really good. The voice acting is delicious. I love it. And even though I like how Knave was like, I'm a mage, I should go. And he's right. She is a mage. But in this instance, she's going to be the one to hold off those demons by herself. And if she survives, it goes to show that Knave ain't nothing to scoff at. That ice mage that chick mean business. So we see that here. We run around, all this stuff, and then we get to this scene right here. Now, what's actually being said on the way up to Varric and Solas's conversation, to my very good friend Kallista Plays. She actually did a theory video as well, and she actually was able to capture what was being said. So Kallista, I'm actually taking her section of the video and I'm putting it in right here so you can know what these two are saying to each other, and it is so good.
Let's go, Hardy.
Now, you might be able to hear Varric and Solas are having a conversation, but it's drowned out by the storm. I've tried to subtitle this as best as I can.
Again, Kallista Plays. Thank you, honey. Her channel link will be in the video description. Highly recommend you check her out. She has done excellent Let's Plays on Dragon Age, from Origins to Inquisition, and all the DLCs in between. And she is an excellent storyteller and Let's Player, so yeah. So I would highly recommend you go over there and slap that subscribe button, because you won't be disappointed. Right here, where Solas, again, in his immense arrogance, where he's like telling him like, no, like, you gotta stop this. And I like, he's like, you know, that was years ago, Varric, like, stop it, bitch, you're not getting through. It's a valiant what do you say, your efforts were valiant, but this will not end in my downfall. Famous last mother thumping words, okay? And I did say thumping. I didn't say, you know. I'm trying to minimize my cursing. It ain't working, but still, you know, whatever. So, okay, Harding and Rook. You know, and the funny thing is, I actually got this wrong. I said, well, in my discussion with Hark and Shay, I said a Rook can be sacrificed. No, not exactly. And this is something that Kallista in her video actually got me thinking about, because I actually started looking up chess. Yes, I did. Yes, I did, honey. I started looking up the significance of a chess piece, the Rook chess piece, and I realized Rooks get stronger as you move them on the board. So at first I thought you can sacrifice your Rook to protect your queen, which is the most important piece on your table. But when I thought about it, that is a Rook, because there's a chess piece. Mark Dara had a red book with a red chess piece, a Rook chess piece. So I'm excited. Again, the storytelling. Yes, queen, I'm here for it. Okay, so Rook and Harding use those muscles and they bring down the Elvanur's statue. Again, who was doing the construction on this place? For real, you need to be fired, bitch. But I like right here where he is seeing what's happening, and you tell Varric is like, okay, it's time to move. It's time to run. Although, again, that right there, everybody, fuck yeah. I mean, can we pet it? Like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. The lust is real. Right here, he starts getting ready to run, and then you see right here where he realizes at this moment he knew he fucked up. And he's like, what? No, no. And boom, right here. It's in this moment right here where I'm like, how are we gonna defeat this cat? Look how he just almost effortlessly does this. And right here during this scene, this is where I think Harding gets her magic. Because if you choose Harding right here in this moment, this is when Harding gets her magic. And I think Knave is okay in this part of the game, I think, but I'm not sure. This actually may have consequences later down the line. So I'm wondering, will Harding ever get magic if you switch the other way around? If you choose Knave to be with you versus Harding, does that impact her story? Kind of curious right there. So I'm excited to know. Now, guys, this is a massive spoiler warning. If you don't want to be spoiled, go ahead and skip to the next section of the video, which is right here on screen, where I'm going to be talking about the combat and the RPG elements of this game. So again, this is your final warning. I think I may have uncovered a massive spoiler in Varric's fate in this game, in Veilguard. So let's see. You see this scene here where they're all falling over. Rook looks hot. And then this scene right here where we see Solas and the veil is tearing open. Now, mind you, he was over by scaffolding. He was running across scaffolding. He wasn't in this area. Remember, where those stairs are, that's further away. So how did he get so far down? This could be telling. I'm not entirely sure. This could be slightly edited. But here, one, Solas looks a little sad. He looks a little heartbroken right here. And if you turn around, we'll talk about those two that are standing up. But right here, two things. One, Solas looks like he was crying, and that right there is Varric. Because if you look at it, matter of fact, we're gonna slow down the video. I want you guys to see the slowdown. We're gonna go back just a little bit. We're gonna go back just a wee bit, where he actually, and if you look, you see him moving like as if something's on him. He's trying to get it off, and there's something glowing. I think either Varric is gonna die in this very moment, or Varric has now been paralyzed from the waist down. So why he's not with you in combat, A, Bianca is destroyed, B, he's not going to be able to walk because his spine has been severed. You know, I think that might be what's happening here. And even though Harding may have magic, she may not know enough. And remember, what do you call it? Knave is an ice mage. She may not know healing magic. And depending on the type of mage or character we are, we may not have healing magic at this moment because we haven't gotten our skill tree yet. And I think this is why Varric is not a companion, why I believe he will play an advisory role, and why this may be the end of his story as a adventurer. Not necessarily his death, but the end of his story. So yeah, I think this is Varric injured with his spine severed at this moment. So, or his death. But I don't think they're gonna take him out. I think this might be, you know, and why we don't see him at the table. Because if he was an advisor, we would see Varric either in a wheelchair or something, or maybe he's bedridden at this time, while he's not at the quote-unquote lighthouse. So this image you see here on screen with everybody, I think Varric is either dead or maybe just not in this area because he's in the bed. It could be that. Now right here, Solas was actually crying because when the light hits his face, you actually see a tear. A tear. He's sad because he hurt his friend. You know, his friend is hurt. And he's hurt because his ritual, again, he's realizing he made a mistake. And I don't know if y'all noticed, but Daddy looking shooketh. Let's go back real quick. Daddy looking shooketh right here, where he sees his friend on the floor, injured, hurting, and he's turning back to the veil because now he realizes, oh my God, that is a face of fear. Solas is afraid. He's very afraid. And who I think these two are, as you see them rising up, is that is Gillenon. That's Gillenon, mother of the Hala, and that is, and this right here, the way he looked like he might have been leaning over Varric and looked up and looked angry, right there in that scene, where Rook, you know, gets that mad dog face. Again, so good, love it so much. And you see this scene right here. I think that's who these two are. Let's go back really quickly. I'm so sorry, everybody. Going back to these two right here. And you see that flash of lightning. Now, when you see this here, it matches the two statues that we see, these two. Why I think this is Gillenon, or it could be Angriel. Angriel was the mother of the hunt. She's the one that would hunt creatures, and she went into the void, put on this weird ass armor. It drove her mad, and Mythal had to be like, I gotta take this bitch down. So that might be her, or she could already be dead. I don't know. The reason why I think this might be Gillenon is, once again, we're gonna play the Legend of Zelda, Into Winter Nights, the story, Horror of Harmach. I can't sing this short story's praises enough. It is such a good little story where we learn more about what Gillenon was doing, how she was creating creatures. Now, another reason why I think this might also link back to Gillenon, remember when Bellara was jumping through the veil, those tentacles that pulled her back in could belong to her. And remember, when we see the peninsula of Ravane, that giant octopus, you hear glory to the risen gods. Remember, Gillenon was going to destroy her creatures, the sea creatures, when Pride stopped her hand, stopped her from destroying these underwater creatures that might have been underwater, hidden in the veil. Now that the veil is opening and thinning, the creature got out, right? And it ties back into her so much. If this isn't Gillenon and this is Angriel, goddess of the hunt, then it kind of makes sense. Okay, I'll give you that one. Then Elganon, this badass right here, I think this is Elganon, the husband to Mythal, the god of the god of vengeance. You know, Mythal was a protector, he was vengeance, a father's vengeance, a mother's protection. And Mythal, don't count her out just yet, even if you played the end of Trespasser and she put something in an alluvion, because she might be needed, because remember, she wants vengeance. She wants to get back at these cats for killing her. And so we may get to see her come back as well, not as Mythal the woman, but actually as, not what is the woman's name? The woman, Flemeth. Flemeth, the woman, is no more. Mythal, the goddess, yes. But the question is how will she return? Will she return as a dragon? Will she possess another body? Has she found Morgan? Yeah, has she found Morgan? So these are my theories about this going forward. And I think now we know who had this section of video right here where it says,
all the world will soon share the peace and comfort of my reign.
And that, I think, is Elganon, the father, the leader of the gods, the leader of this pantheon. And yeah, and if that is the case, they say the gods want to blight the land. I think we're in for a really epic story, because you need to understand that the stakes are impossibly high. You have two elven gods that want to murder everybody with the blight. You have Solus, who has unleashed the veil, our character Rook, responsible for kind of causing this problem, right? Then you have to deal with the Venatori into Venter and all of its political intrigue. Then we have to deal with the chaos in the Alathan Fars. We have to deal with the Wardens and what's going on with them. All the red lyriums spreading everywhere throughout Thedas. This game, if done right, will be, in my opinion, either the very best Dragon Age has ever done, or it could be right there with fan favorites of not better than Origins to fans, or right as good as Origins, because this game is about to it's about to hit hard. And like I said, I'm prepared for ugly crying. I'm so sorry you hear that loud ass car. I'm so sorry. If I can fix it in post, I will. But this game, I think, is about to hit us hard, with understanding that our party members can live or die by our decisions. So the real question is what happened to Nave while she fought those demons by herself? You know, what's happening? What happened to her? What happened to Harding? Did Harding get her magic at this moment? Has it begun to awaken? What is Varric's fate? Is he paralyzed from the waist down? Or are we about to see one of our most beloved, favorite characters saying his, tell his last tale? You know what I mean? Like, it's about to get serious. Because remember, Harding was like, you don't look too good, my friend. And I don't know if I'm ready for that level of like storytelling. It'll be good. If they do it well, it'll be good and it will make sense. And this makes sense to why Varric isn't a party member, more of a side advisory character, or we're doing this in honor of Varric. For Varric, the Veilguard must stand, and again, it ties into we may need Solas to help us close the veil. And we might need Mythal. Mythal might be the dragon we need to help us fight, and again, depending on your world state with Karen, the son of the Warden and Morgan. There's so much going on with this, and there's so much to speculate over. This is why I'm so freaking pumped. If this is done right, if this is done well, if this opening hour of the game is any indication of what we're going to expect going forward in Veilguard, we are going to have a rip-snorting good time, and girl, I'm here for it, okay? And I think right here in this moment, when we see, Daddy looking mad, let's slow this down just a little bit more. Let's slow it down just a little bit more. Slow it down some more. I'm so sorry, everybody. But right here, I think right in this moment, Solas bulks. You see this purple flash right here? I think Solas runs for it. Because now you have Gillenon, which looks fucking amazing. And then we have Daddy Elganon. I think Solas bulks in this moment, and it perfectly ties in. When you see that, it looks like he runs. Solas runs from the Elvenuris in this moment, and I think that is so telling about his character, because he's even said that he would run, and let's just remember Varric as he was. But yeah, so that's what I think. That's the story and the theory I have going forward. But we won't know until fall, when this game finally comes out and answers all of our questions, and maybe leave us with new questions leading into a new era of Dragon Age, and I'm super here for it. So okay guys, you probably skipped to this part of the video depending on where you landed. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna talk a little bit about the combat and what to expect from the combat going forward. So let's talk about it. So right here, we're gonna remove it from being slow. So sorry, everybody. We're gonna turn it normal again. We're gonna be normal for a little while, but we're talking about me here. Okay, so now, and again, I love the new look of the demons. I really like it. So right here, now we're gonna talk about combat. If you notice right here, there's lightning coming off of his boot. So I'm wondering, you see where it says Scout Harding has joined your party. So I'm wondering about the combat, because I want to know how mages fight. Because what I will say about the rogue looks good. You see, he lands with a kick. He does a lot of really flashy moves, and one thing I noticed is that there's a dodge and parry system in the game. And if you notice the halo over his head, now I said this was kind of like Hogwarts Legacy when you do Protego. I think that's what this is going to be like. So you just mash either triangle, square, or O to parry or dodge out of the way. And I think when you do the perfect dodge, you do that vamp, you do the bamp, like the teleport, or the body spin out of the way in time. And it looks like right here the guy's not hitting it, but you notice when he flips, you notice the smoke when he flips away from the enemies. And you see how he can seamlessly transition from bow to dual-handed weapons. So again, I'm very excited. You notice when things break, he actually gets coin. He makes that coin. We're all about that coin. So yeah, so you notice him fighting here. You see how he bamps? Let's see that again. Matter of fact, let's slow it down. let's not do subtitles. Let's, the only language I speak outside of American Sign Language is English, American Sign Language, and very little of si habla español. I used to know how to speak French, but since I had no one to practice with, you lose, if you don't use it, you'll lose it kind of scenario. Okay, so right here, watch. Now he does a perfect parry, and look, boom, he bamfs like Nightcrawler. I love it. And also, as we go further into this, you get rewarded for this kind of like landing hits and perfect parries under the rules of this new mechanic. So I think this might be like a bit of a button masher. I don't mind. I'm perfectly fine with a game like that. I know some people say this is dumbed down mechanics, but let's just be honest. We're not all here for the mechanics. We're here for the game. We're here for the story, and we're here for the characters. And real talk, for me, this is the kind of mechanics I've always wanted in Dragon Age. I honestly wanted these kind of mechanics in Baldur's Gate, but we didn't get them. And I'm perfectly fine with Baldur's Gate mechanic. I love it. I love that stressful play. That's why I'm playing on the most difficult level. So if you want to watch my Let's Play Baldur's Gate 3, video in the description. I play it on the hardest challenging level, not balance where it's the easiest, the one where I think it's the most I forgot what the actual name is. I believe it starts with the V. And new episodes are coming, so stay tuned for that for Baldur's Gate 3 Let's Play. So I really like this here. And I love how he zips and it looks like it has light lock-on targeting. And you see him turn away and it looks like he has a charge-up attack. So this is why I think there might be multiple buttons to be mashing going forward. So again, I really like the combat here. Again, it warns you and it turns yellow right as you get hit, and you see Harding in the background being a boss, flipping like Catwoman, making me love her more. And you see him getting hit here and he sees like, oh crap, I need to move, so boom, bam. So I like it because you see a variety of attacks and hits. And now some people feel like the fighting looks clunky and some people feel like it looks slow, and that's true. But they're still working on it. But the combat doesn't look bad. And then you see all your cousins right here, all your little cousins running for cover, your little rat cousins. Ooh, girl, somebody need to call an exterminator. Okay, and you notice he heals himself here, but he breaks this vase right here, getting back a potion he lost. I really like that. So now let's get to the section right here that's really, really cool. So right here, you see the Venatori. Homeboy takes him down, quick, fast, and in a hurry. He hits him with the charge attack. And then right here, you see these indicators. Now know that this won't be there. You can turn this off and look, boom, Daddy can parry. In your face, Vinny. And he does a little flip. I love this. I love the combat. And I like the running. You see there's two different running styles. There's the sprint and then there's the casual jog. And Daddy is just going in. Get him, get him. Like, I love it so much. And I love knowing that you can pop people off of the cliff. Like, I was wondering, can you knock them off? And you see people actually falling off. And you see right here where he does the X. Bye, Felicia. I love it so much. And you actually see in the corner the game is saving. And this right here, boys and girls, is Red Lyrium. So I think there is a Venatori Red Lyrium trade, kind of like what we saw in Inquisition. I think it makes a return in this game as well, continuing that narrative. So I really like that as well. So honestly, we're just gonna skip to the part where the tactical part of the game gets brought up, where this is very reminiscent to Mass Effect 2, which I have played all the Mass Effect games. I also have the collector's edition. One day I'll do a Let's Play. But just not today. I might do a Let's Play of Inquisition, or I might not, but I'll explain why in a minute. You see him sliding down, it looking really cool. More of Minrathous looking like Gotham City, and I love it so much. And then right here where he does the roll and the flip, and right here, boop, he goes right into tactical mode. And it says use the ability wheel to pause the action to choose from Rook's abilities. So as you can see here, he has this ability called Static Strike. I believe I called it Static Shock. And this looks magical. So I'm wondering, is it because of what's happening here? some characters who don't have magic might get magic, and I'll explain why when we talk about the skill tree. We learn a little bit more about it. Does the he chooses the static shock or static strike, and boom, that looks electrical because that travels. So I'm very curious to see how that will play out when we actually are in game. So now let's skip ahead here to the more challenging fight where you're fighting the very aggressive Pride demon. You'll notice something here, that the demons do things they didn't do before, or maybe they did, I don't remember, it's been a minute since I played Inquisition. The demons teleport, meaning you can miss your hit. And look, the demon looked very, very aggressive. And what I want to point out to you is that right here at the bottom of the screen, you notice there's a burn meter, or like kind of like in Street Fighter or in other games, you kind of build up your meter to do a special attack or a finisher move. So I think that's what this is. And you notice when he gets hit, it actually goes away. So you notice, like, let me show you, when he gets hit, right about here, you see how it actually goes down just a little, not a lot, and you have something called quick recovery. So if you're parrying correctly and you're dodging correctly, you actually build up the meter, and when you land strikes, you build up your meter, and when you get hit, like I said, it kind of drops back a little bit. So I think that is really cool. I really love that about the combat. Now, if nobody notices right here, Neve was actually doing physical attacks. So this is why I'm excited for the mage, and we'll talk about that when we get to that section of the video. Right here, if you look at what Mommy is doing, she's actually swinging her wand like how in Inquisition you could swing, like the mages can swing and throw their stick and land it. Even though the mages were stationary, you see a little bit of that here. And then look, she jumps away. She jumps away, which has me very excited for what mage combat is going to be like. I'm really excited to play as a mage because I really want to be fighting and jumping around and maybe using lightning to teleport around the room. Like, I don't know how that's going to work with fire and lightning, because it looks like here with ice you can fly away. Also, she's a nice mage. So I'm really excited to see that here. Also, you notice with his arrows, you get a charge up meter. So even though you might be using an arrow, you may have a charge up meter. And there may be like stat buffs you can get that make the meter fill up faster, so you can use arrows more often. So I really like that. Hey guys, sorry for the hard stop in the middle of the video. As I was editing this video, new information has dropped from BioWare. They did a Discord community live stream where they invited the community out and the devs were answering questions. So some of the stuff I was talking about was actually incorrect, and so now I'm here to give out the right information. So, as I was saying about the combat system, it does have some very fine RPG elements. One of the things I learned with the actual skill tree is that it's very similar to Final Fantasy XII and Final Fantasy X. Now, I know some people may not like that because in Final Fantasy X, the sphere grid is what the skill tree looks like. Now, what has me really excited about this skill tree is that it seems like we might be able to maybe subclass some of our abilities. So for example, if we're playing as a warrior, they can do like, you know, weapon attacks, defense, and abilities. So let's just say some of those abilities dabble in magic. So now you can kind of have an arcane warrior, so to speak. Though none of this information has been, you know, confirmed that we can multi-class like this, but it definitely seems like it's leaning in that direction, which has me uber excited. One of the other things I was really excited about as I was doing the original video, I was talking about this image you see right here on screen, where you see Rook as a warrior, you see Balara, which is now been revealed. She is a mage. This entire time I thought she was an archer, but no, she is a mage. You see that she has abilities here. You also see Scout Harding and her abilities, but also it's showing on screen here Rook as well as Balara can do something that's like a combo effect, meaning that they can do moves that can complement each other and really take down an enemy, which I found very exciting and cool. As I said before, this game has a Mass Effect 2 kind of vibe to it, meaning we do not have control over our party members anymore, so I guess that's a downgrade, I suppose. But still, I'm really excited about what we're seeing here and hopefully what we'll actually be able to do in the future. Also, healing is back, as you can see in this image here. So healing magic is back, which I'm very excited about. Now, when it comes to the classes, this is no different from any of the other BioWare games where you can play as a warrior, a rogue, or a mage. Which also has me really excited is that it seems like mage now has something a little extra going on with it. So do the other classes as well. Rook can be dual wielding and an archer. Warrior, it seems like not only can you fight with sword and shield, but you can actually throw your shield Captain America style. And with the mage, they can also do things like close quarters combat. So for me, as a mage player, I am very excited about this. Also, there are some new abilities that the mage has. So Kona Cold and like the meteor shower magic isn't back, but they do have some new things taking their place. So again, I am uber excited about the combat. I cannot wait to fully explore, seeing how we can mix and match and really like play around with our characters. It seems like we have a lot more options and varieties going forward. And one last thing I do want to mention, we notice at the bottom of the screen, it seems like we only have 3 spell slots. From what I'm understanding, you can actually do more spells. So I believe you can have up to 9 spells equipped at a time. So I guess like 3 spell diamonds at a time, I'm assuming. So it's kind of similar to what we saw to Hogwarts Legacy, as we could switch out our spell diamonds. So I think that might be a similar thing here going forward. I don't mean to compare this to Hogwarts Legacy, but Hogwarts Legacy has a similar looking mechanic system when it comes to how you can swap out spells. Okay guys, so now what we're about to do, we're gonna switch gears. We're actually gonna talk about character creation, races, romance, and a little bit more. Character creation, we all know, is one of the most important parts of any RPG. And it seems like Dragon Age The Veilguard is not going to let us down at all. From what we've been able to see from the trailers, from the default Rook and the NPCs, including our party members, what we might be getting with this character creator. Not only can we be humans, but we can be elves, dwarves, and Qunari. We can be all of the races we were before in Inquisition. In addition to that, there are new types of body sliders. Now, what has me so excited about this? Up on screen right now, I'm showing you the character creator from Dragon's Dogma 2. And I gotta be honest with you, this is one of the absolute best character creators I have ever seen in my life. Again, I'm using this as an example, but this is my Arisen from Dragon's Dogma 2. And as you can see, there are tons of options. You can make the chest bigger, you can make the butt bigger, and you can also do that in Dragon Age The Veilguard, including your bulge size. So yeah, that's right, gentlemen. We can show that we are wielding more than one type of weapon. And then also, in addition to that, it seems like we're able to control posture and how the character actually walks and moves. As you can see here, I'm making my character walk around so we could see how we want their posture, how their arms might be angled, and that's what it seems like we might be getting when it talks about hair. Now, you know, and I know hair is really important to a character's look. Sometimes it really nicely ties a character's look together, and it seems like the devs really focused on getting rid of their notoriously bad hair. Especially for men and women of color, and being a man of color, I'm really excited to know that we have all kind of hair types that we could play around with. So like dreads, braids, cool fades, because we got to see Rook, he had like a really nice little haircut. So I'm really excited to see what else we can do, colors we can play with, and then we even have long hair options. So yes, and more yes. In addition to the character creator, we can also, like I said, we can do body sliders. We can also choose our gender. So he, she, them, they. We can actually do that. So non-binary options are available as well. So again, it's kind of everybody's winning, and I am so here for that. Also guys, we can rebuild our Inquisitor. This has me super excited because the Inquisitor has been confirmed to be in this game. Oh my god, I'm so happy that we have this, and I can't wait to recreate Micah the Inquisitor. Yes, I'm that person. Micah the Inquisitor, and finally give him the opportunity to talk to Solus and hopefully help his friend and get him off of this insane train of tearing down the Veil. Some of you might be saying, well, how do we port our world over? Well, it turns out that Dragon Age Keep is no longer going to be a thing. Now, just so you know, I've never used Dragon Age Keep. This is something very new to me, but old players, those of you who've played Origins 2 Inquisition, could port over your world state based on the decision you made. Well, how do we do that now, even though we're able to, I don't know, bring in our Inquisitor? Well, all of that is going to be done with the power of tarot. That's right, tarot cards. So as you build your characters, you can set up your world state. So based on how your world in Inquisition ended, depending on who was divine, if you chose to make Cole more of a spirit or a human, who you romanced, all of that stuff. So depending on how you wanted your world state to end, you actually have an opportunity to kind of make it the exact way you want it. So that affects the world state as you're playing in Veilguard with your Rook and your Inquisitor. Now moving on to the subject of romance, it has been confirmed by BioWare that all the characters are pansexual. That is how they're gonna do it going forward. Now it's not player sexual, it literally means that each character is pansexual. So that means all of your party members have past experiences and lovers, and it does not conform around you as a player. So if you are a heterosexual gamer and you're liking one of the women are not gonna automatically say, oh, I've been with all of these guys, and seem to only show interest in men. Another thing I find super cute and adorable is that depending on who you choose to romance, anyone you don't romance might start romancing each other. So for example, Harding and Tosh may actually start romancing each other, kind of like Iron Bull and Dorian. And again, I absolutely love that. I think that's so cool. It's so cute. It's so progressive. I support it. We stand. Let's go. Now, in addition to romance in this game, there are romance scenes that you will get in the story. Some are very, sweet and innocent. Some of them get pretty spicy. There's confirmed nude scenes. So, Bound Chicka Wow Wow will actually be taking place, but that will happen later in game, as it should. Everyone's romance is also very tied into their narrative. So again, it's really exciting. One of the biggest selling points of any BioWare game are truly the companions and the story. So again, I'm super pumped. I can't wait to love on Nave and love on Davin. Oh, another really fun fact about Davin and his adorable griffin named Asan, which means arrow. Oh my god, I love it so much. It turns out you can actually hug him and you can pet him while you're in your home base called the Lighthouse. Another thing that has me really excited about the Veilguard is understanding the maps. Now, the devs made it very clear that everything has been handcrafted and curated for the best type of storytelling. Doesn't mean that everything is stuck on a linear track. You do have the options to kind of explore, find hidden treasures, hidden areas, and you can return to areas. So to me, that makes me really excited. So in addition to being in Monrathis, that is Tevinter, you also have Ravane, the Alathan Forest, and more areas soon to come. I really feel that this game is going to do well. I really feel that based on how strongly the devs are really supporting this, I think DA4 or the Veilguard is going to do extremely well, and I can't wait. I'm super here for it, guys. Okay guys, at the very beginning of this video, I did say I wanted to touch on something that I saw happening within the DA community, and a lot of the Discord that I see that I just find extremely sad. A lot of people who were fans of this franchise from Origins really feel that DA Veilguard has lost its way, and a lot of people are upset with BioWare. Now, to be fair, BioWare has had some games in the past that really just didn't land well, such as Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem. And that's fair. That's very fair. Understanding gaming today, that gaming franchises are evolving. And Dragon Age is one of those franchises that's never really the same as its predecessor. For example, Dragon Age Origins was way more of a strategy RPG style game, very similar to what you got from Baldur's Gate 3. Now 2 and 3 were a lot more focused on action. The gameplay was a lot more quicker, and then in Dragon Age Inquisition, it had more of that, but it also had the tactical camera that lets you do a top-down thing, and truthfully, I never used it. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I just focused more on the actual gameplay itself. So with that said, this particular franchise has always been a little bit different. Each time you get a new protagonist, you get new game mechanics. I want to tell people I do sympathize with you if you are an Origins fan. I do understand, because one of my very favorite franchises did the exact same thing, and that was Resident Evil. Now, when Resident Evil first started back in '96, it was very focused on survival horror, inventory management, linear storytelling with slight exploration to it, fixed camera angles, tank controls, all that good stuff. And I felt that Resident Evil 4 lost a lot of what made it special when Resident Evil 4 came out. But here's the thing. Resident Evil 4 revolutionized the gaming industry as a whole. It is so popular, the over-the-shoulder camera, that even Dragon Age The Veilguard does the same thing when you see Rook shooting an arrow, where it's an over-the-shoulder kind of camera. So as you can see, that mechanic really has lasted a long time. And as I said, RE4 has revolutionized the gaming industry as a whole. And even though Resident Evil 4 did super well and a lot of people like it, it's just one of those games I was just never a fan of, because it wasn't what I was looking for in a Resident Evil game. The franchise did not go back to what I wanted until we got the remake of RE1 and RE0. Now, when those two games went out, it went right back into the things that I love: fixed camera angles, tank controls, with an emphasis on survival horror, inventory and resource management, linear storytelling with very light exploration. And that's what I love most about Resident Evil. Now, as you can see, Resident Evil continues to evolve with RE2 and RE3 remake, where again, it went right back into that RE4 formula with the over-the-shoulder camera, so on and so forth. And Resident Evil continues to evolve as it went into first person. Even though I may not always like what Capcom does with my favorite game franchise, I'm still a massive fan, and I still always have those memories of the original series, even though the series is changing dramatically as they're evolving it over time. So what I'm saying to you is, even though you may not like what you see and you may feel like this is a massive departure, it's not what you want, I would honestly say give the game a chance. We've already seen what the gameplay looks like. It is amazing, and I'm really excited to see what Dragon Age will do going forward. I can't wait to see what happens when we do character customization, and then when we start learning more about this incredible story that I think is really going to be fun and good. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Again, what I want to know is, what do you guys think? Do you totally agree with me? Are you super excited for D8 Veilguard? Are you one of the fans that is very upset and jaded with BioWare and you just don't want this game to do well? What is it? What are you truly upset about? I would love to hear from you in the comment sections down below. But also, with that said, I'm telling everyone, please be respectful to anyone who leaves a comment down below. Remember, everyone's opinions are going to differ from yours and differ from mine. So again, just be respectful. Know that people are feeling very tender and emotional about a franchise that really means something special to them, and they're feeling like they're losing it and they're not getting it back, because it's very clear that Dragon Age is never going to go back to Origins, even though we get a little slice of that with, origin stories and backgrounds. But yeah, it's really not going to go back to that, especially in today's video game market. So Yeah. But again, as I said before, make sure you leave your comments down below. I really would love to hear from you. That is going to be the video, guys. I want to thank you so much for your time and attention on this very long video, but I had so much fun diving into all this stuff with you. So be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you know what to do with that comment section. And I'm just going to see you guys on the flip side, only if you remember to live, think, and dream big and choose love over fear. But until then, bye.